Welcome to another video from the Essence of Clarity, and today we are talking about the best way to organize photos, both digital and electronic. Make sure to like and subscribe and stay tuned because I'm gonna go through it. Okay, so normally in my organizing videos, I don't say there is one best way to organize or one best way to declutter. It really depends on who you are and what your life is and what your priorities are. For photos, I do think there's one best way, and bear with me. So we all start life as a baby and we die hopefully as an old mature person. So we are living on chronological order. I was reading a philosophical based book the other day and it basically said we are time rather than we are a certain age. We are the embodiment of time. So we can use everything, but in this case, we are going to use that for our organizing endeavors. So I would use the years that you are alive, that you have photos, and use them as a sequential progression of your time here. So you can actually enjoy, cherish the memories. Also, basically within that, make sure that you label your folders and potentially your actual photos clearly, because then you can find them. So sometimes, you know, if you get a little bit older than 25, you can kind of remember, oh, that holiday there and there, but you can't remember which year it was. So if you still have the name of the photo, then you can easily find it and you realize that it was in 2019. Yes, before COVID, because after COVID, no one was traveling anymore. Anyway, okay, so basically what I suggest you do is create folders. So I'm going to dive into digital photos first, because everyone that's watching this is super young. They don't even know what paper-based photos are. You know, that's when Granny prints at Officeworks. So digital photos, they are basically kept on order, often already in our files. But if we want to back them up, which I strongly suggest you do, put them on your computer and then have some cloud storage solution. So I have been for years, before Wi-Fi was even a thing, I've been using Dropbox, and it's been so useful because over the years things add up, but I can find things, and I know that in 30 seconds I can find the baby photos of my children, and because of the clear folder structure, and I have backups. So I think I'm already 3 or 4 computers through, but I still have the same folder system because it's on Dropbox and it can easily kind of jump on any computer, but you can use anything you like. So you have the year, and it doesn't really matter what year it is, but say 2022. So that's the overarching folder. So we call that in organizing speak a parent category, and then within that you've got children categories, which are different folders which give a little bit more context to what's in there. So I'm not a strong believer in having lots of folders. It actually adds a lot of confusion and time if you are someone that's using a lot of folders in Outlook. But in organizing photos, it is handy. So you have the year 2022. Who are the most important people in your life? So, and as life evolves, this changes. So if I started this as a young person traveling, it would be me and some key friends and my partner at the time. But now my key people are my husband and my children. So everyone gets a folder with their name on it, and it's already in the year, so we know exactly that this was this person in this particular year. And it's very easy to drag and drop photos. The other thing that you want to do is go, okay, well, we've got our main family members, the people that you live with or see very often. Then you've got more expanded family, so you put a folder up for that. And then you've got friends and family. People come and go through your life, and that is okay. But it's nice to actually keep those memories and keep those people in the context of your sequential chronological life. So we put them there. And I think holidays is a nice folder to have. So here you might have a folder called holidays or weekends away, and then within that you would basically specify which holiday that was with the name of the folder and potentially the name of the files. Now, I like to do things fast and furious. I don't necessarily like spending hours and hours sorting through photos, especially not at the speed that we're making photos nowadays. So I basically go through them, have dual screen, throw them in the folder that they belong. And then if I want to make it even easier, or I do this once a year, then I basically highlight all the photos in that folder that don't have a clear name. So they got kind of the camera name, which means nothing to us humans. And then I would basically say, say they're photos of me, Sabine 2020. And then when I search through them, I can find them. And whether that is, whether I need tomorrow a photo of me this year, or I need one in 5 years' time, I'll be able to find it. So you're using folders just kind of the hierarchical structure to easily kind of make little boxes for your photos, and then you're using the file names to make it very easy to find the actual pictures. Let's make sure that I've done it. Oh, another thing that you have, what I strongly recommend that you do is in the year, if you have any significant life events like the birth of a child, a marriage, the holiday, or the journey of a lifetime, make sure that that has its own folder, because these things are super precious. Now, I've spoken about batching all the things and using names, but another thing, and this is, you can do this in two ways. You can do this essentially once a year when you go through the photos of that year, or you can do that on a regular basis when you transfer your photos from your phone to your computer, or from your digital camera via the little memory card onto your computer. Only keep photos that are good. So my daughter is an avid photographer, and she's good at it, but half of the photos he makes should be deleted because it just takes up space. They're not sharp, they're out of focus, some are really good, but if you compare it, even of the 6 photos that are amazing, 2 are really amazing. So do yourself a favor and basically be relatively ruthless. The memories are in a few key images. You don't need to have multiple okay photos. You want to have a few really, really good photos. So delete like your life depends on it, and then keep those most precious images. The final step that you can do, and this is really a personal one, do you want to basically make these photos into a little booklet or create a little gift? It's up to you, and you can decide to do that then and there, or once a year, or once in 5 years when inspiration strikes. And the benefit of this system is that when, for example, your children turn 18, or your parents have this massive anniversary, you can actually find photos from specific people from different years, and you can actually combine them and put them in a memory book, kind of paper-based format. So that's really useful because you've kind of done 80% of the organizing already for yourself. Okay, so this is for the people that still remember what photos were before digital cameras, and that includes myself. Even though my kids go like, this is the running joke in my house. I said, when I was younger and I traveled, I actually sent the films to my parents because I was too stingy to get them basically made, and I didn't want to travel with a whole backpack full of pictures. And lo and behold, when I arrived back, all the photos were done because my parents were so excited to actually see them. My kids go, so you did not have a digital camera at that time? Think, pause, reflect. Did you have houses? Anyway, for those people that are my age or older and remember paper-based photos, you might have shoe boxes full of them. They can be really intimidating, but it can be a really nice project. So some of my videos talk about what type of time in the year to do certain things. Winter is a great time to grab, one shoe box, or basically stack the shoe boxes and kind of see the amount of work you need to do, and then tackle it one step at a time. So first thing you want to do is basically delete, or not delete, basically bin all the photos that you do not want to have, that are not sharp, that don't bring happy memories, that you don't even know what it is anymore, bin them. And that could be as many as, I don't know, 50, 75%. So then you're left with pictures that you really, really like. You know what they're about, you know why you want to keep them, and then put them into categories. Now, I've just argued for a year-to-year basis, and I do strongly suggest that for digital photos. For if you have 10 years worth of paper-based photos, I don't know if that's worthwhile, because you sometimes cannot remember. So in that case, have basically a big table and post-it notes and maybe blue tack, and when you have a category, put all the photos. So if I were to, I have organized my photos. I've done this many years ago when the kids were really small, and I was fortunate enough to not have to work full time. So I had a little bit of time to do kind of those really fun, time-consuming organizing projects. So at that time I had around about, I think, 10 years worth of paper-based photos. So I looked at, okay, what it's about. Is it my year traveling through Australia? Is it are there photos from the children? Are there photos of my childhood? And I basically put them in categories, and then after that, if I wanted to, I could narrow them down, or if the pile was really big, then I wanted to narrow them down. But if it was manageable, I actually put them in envelopes, and then I wrote down what the category was. So Sabine backpacking through Australia in, when was it? 2001, I think. So I've got all of those together. Then for a couple of years, I had multiple weekends away, and we basically called that, you know, whatever that weekend away was. It didn't even have to have a particular year. Sabine childhood, so anything from, I don't know, my early 20s to my childhood, that was all in one big envelope, and I could still find them. And it's actually fun because, you know, a decade later, when my children want to see what I look like when I was their age, I can still find that particular paper-based envelope. You can do a paper-based. I remember at that time I actually handmade all my my little envelopes because it had to be archival quality. You can also actually get, and it's quite easy to get nowadays from, say, Kmart, you have plastic containers and they have colors. If you want to, you can put some archival paper around the photos, and then just put them in plastic snap lock things, and then with a label maker put a label on it. This is what I will transfer to, because lo and behold, after a decade or more, those envelopes are basically disintegrating. So that is one way of doing it in terms of doing paper-based photos. It is a big project. I don't recommend you start organizing photos as your first organizing project, but it is also really lovely, especially if you just make it a nice experience. So make yourself comfortable in terms of where you are working. Make sure that you've got everything that you need, and don't expect miracles in one session, because photo organizing is time consuming. It is rewarding, but it is rewarding 6 months, a year, 10 years down the track. So have fun with your photos. I hope this was really useful for you. Stay tuned for another video. Make sure to like and subscribe, because that really helps my channel. Okay, bye.